Hello and Shabbat Shalom. So, today's Torah portion is Shemeni, which means the eighth. And it begins in Vayikra, or Leviticus, chapter 9, and begins at 9:1. And it says, "And it came to pass on the eighth day that Moses called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel." Then it goes through and very specifically explains a number of offerings and how they are to be offered and the order that they're to be given, and the responsibilities of the one bringing the offering, as well as the responsibility of the Cohen who is taking the offering, the priest. So we have to understand that the Torah in and of itself is very specific as to its instruction. But we also have to understand ourselves in that we are also very human in our tendencies. And this is something that we have to consider in Shemeni, Shemeni Yom, or Yom Shemeni, the eighth day. We consider the world to come, okay? After the white throne judgment, after the millennium has come to an end, when basically eternity begins, we, or those who are there, we can't necessarily say we because we never know, but those who are there will still have a set of very specific instructions, but they will still be very much human, okay? The thing about human beings, the thing about the Adam, is he was created in the image and likeness of Elohim. In that, we were created in a sense that we are able to make judgments, make choices, use our free will. We can choose to follow or we can choose not to follow. But we also have a choice to recognize where we have strayed off course, again, chatat, and be willing to correct our course and take responsibility for having strayed off course. Even in the world to come, human beings will never be robots. And this is something that we see in this Torah portion of Shemeni. Something else that happens in Shemeni in chapter 10 of Vayikra, or Leviticus, we learn about Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, that take their censers and they fill them with incense and they go and offer up, the word says, a strange fire, an offering that Elohim did not require of them. And they went and they offered it in a place that they were not supposed to go, except for a certain time of the year. The result was that they lost their lives. And not only did they lose their lives, they lost their lives in the presence of Aaron, their father. He saw them literally burst into flames. And it would have been a very traumatic experience for Aaron. So if we take that information and we move forward, we know that Aaron and his sons, the remaining sons, are to be basically set apart for a period of time, 7 days, before they are fully consecrated as priests, and they are to make an offering and they are to eat it in the presence of Elohim. And here is where we go that they make a sin offering. They make the offering of a goat for a sin offering, um, but they let it burn up. They don't uh, eat the portion of it that they are supposed to offer. In fact, let's go to Vayikra chapter 10:16. Says, and Moses diligently inquired for the goat of the sin offering, and behold, it was burnt. And he was angry with Eleazar and with Ithamar, the sons of Aaron that were left, saying, why have you not eaten the sin offering in the place of the sanctuary, seeing it is most kodesh, it is most set apart. It is set apart for a specific purpose. The instruction says you have to do it this way, okay? And he has given it to you to bear the iniquity of the congregation, to make atonement for before Yahuwah. Says this is set apart for the specific purpose of making atonement for the congregation, and you guys have let it burn up. And then it goes on in verse 18, behold, the blood of it was not brought into the sanctuary within. You should certainly have eaten it in the sanctuary as I commanded. Okay? As I commanded. Let's keep that in mind for a moment. Then Aaron speaks up, verse 19. And Aaron spoke unto Moses, behold, this day have they offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before Yahuwah. And there have befallen me such things as these. And if I had eaten the sin offering today, would it have been well pleasing in the sight of Yahuwah? Then Moses heard it, and it was well pleasing in his sight. So let's go back and consider, first of all, verse 16. Moses diligently inquired. Okay? Moses diligently inquired based on what? Moses diligently inquired based on the written word of the Torah. These are the instructions that are written down. I'm inquiring based on the fact and the truth as found in the Torah. Okay? Why have you not eaten the sin offering in the place of the sanctuary, seeing it is most set apart? And he has given it to you to bear. So this is your responsibility according to the Torah. You have to do it this way. Then 18, behold, the blood of it was not brought into the sanctuary, and you have certainly not eaten it in the sanctuary as I commanded. Okay? Moses is the voice of Elohim. He has received the commandment, but as I commanded, as I have interpreted it based on fact, based on truth, based on what is written in the Torah, okay? And there's nothing wrong with interpreting based on fact and based on truth, okay? But listen to what Aaron says. Behold, this day they have offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before Yahuwah. Okay? Yes, they have offered the sin offering. They have offered the burnt offering. We have done what is required according to the Torah for the sake of the congregation. But we can do a Cliff Note version of this. Having seen what happened to my sons, I am distraught. I'm not in the right mind to be able to eat this offering in the right frame of mind. Therefore, I feel that if I had done so, it would not have been pleasing in the eyes of Yahuwah. Okay? So what is Aaron compared to Moses? Moses is fact. Moses is truth. This is what it says. This is how you have to follow it. There's no gray area. It's all black and white. Aaron brings in now the human factor. the thing within the atom, within all of us, whether we are male or female. Remember, Adam is not the name of the first guy. He becomes Adam in the 4th chapter of Bereshit. But up until then, it is Ha-Adam, the Adam. Okay, he created Ha-Adam, male and female. Okay, so this implies to all of us, or this is for everyone. There is the truth of the Torah. There is the fact in the Torah. There is the written instruction in the Torah. And it can be looked at and interpreted very, very clearly based on what it says. And the instruction must be followed according to what it says. But we are clay vessels filled with the Spirit. So we are basically spiritual beings and physical beings. We are creations of the Father, but we are also human in that we have the image and likeness of Elohim. We have the ability to judge, to perceive, to discern, to understand. And a lot of that is based on emotion. It's based on the circumstances in the situation. Aaron understood this. He understood, I have offered up what I'm supposed to offer up. I've done the sin offering according to the fact and the truth in the Torah. I have done the burnt offering according to the fact and the truth in the Torah. But I cannot consume this because the way I feel would not be pleasant or would not be pleasing to my Elohim for me to do this. What is he saying? It is not pleasant or is not pleasing to my Elohim for me to be fake. If I'm going to serve my Elohim, I have to serve him truthfully. And I cannot serve him truthfully from a human perspective, not truthfully from a Torah perspective, but I cannot serve him with my heart. I cannot serve him with my mind. I cannot serve him with my very essence if I cannot humanly feel what I'm going to do. Okay? So there is something that we have to pay attention to in this, is that yes, we have the truth and the fact of the Torah. And yes, we can interpret it based on what it says. But we also must take into account where we are in our human side in order to be able to carry it out correctly. Okay? Use an example. The Torah is very specific in the dietary requirements, and these are also spoken of here in Shemeni. Horse is not something that you would eat. And maybe this is an off-the-wall, oddball example. If you've ever seen the movie Defiance with the Belsky brothers, there is a scene in that movie where they are starving to death. Okay, the Belsky brothers are responsible for this large group of people that have started to follow them. They followed them into the forest to escape the Nazis. And their food stores have basically run dry, and it's wintertime. There's no food available. And something that happens is that Tuvia Bilski, the leader of the group, takes his horse and shoots it. And then it's butchered so that the people have something to eat. There's another scene where one of the women shoots a wolf, and the people have food to eat. Okay? The Torah is very specific in the dietary laws, but there are times that our human need overtakes the very strict adherence to Torah. And it is here that we have to consider what takes precedence in the Torah. Does the dietary law, in this example, does the dietary rulings that says don't eat a horse or don't eat a wolf, do those two things trump the commandment to not commit murder? Okay? Do they trump the commandment to not honor your father and your mother? Your father and your mother are starving. Do you let them starve even though there may be something unkosher there that you can feed them to keep them alive? Or do you allow yourself to starve and, in a sense, die and commit murder because you're trying to keep what I would consider, and maybe this is wrong, but think about this, a lesser commandment? Okay? Can I make teshuvah? Yes. Can I have a conversation with my Elohim and share my point of view as to why I did something? And some people will say, well, you're trying to justify what you did. I remember as a child the many, many times that I got in trouble, and I would explain myself to my father, or I'd explain myself to my mother. Sometimes I had a valid case, and when I did have a valid case, everything was forgiven because I had a good reason for doing what I did, even though it may have not been exactly the right thing to do. How does this translate to the world to come? We have to consider that in the world to come, okay, this is after the millennium, after the white throne judgment, when we go back to the beginning, go back to the garden. The sin of the Adam was not that they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The sin of the Adam was that they did not take responsibility for their actions, and they attempted to manipulate it and lie about it, knowing that they had done what they should not have done, and there was no reason for them having done what they did other than lust. In the world to come, we will fall short. We are not going to be angels playing harps on clouds. We have to consider that the human factor will still be there. We have, if we go by according to the rabbis, we will have had 6,000 plus 1,000 years of the Adam having eaten from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil within us. We will still be very much human in a physical and spiritual realm. The question for Shemeni is, although I have specific rules, can I interpret them in a manner that is not only pleasing to Yahuwah Elohim, but is also pleasing to my human side? In the world to come, when I transgress, when we transgress, when whoever is there transgresses, will they be in a position where they are willing to recognize that they have transgressed, seek Elohim, explain their transgression, repent of their transgression, and make teshuvah for their transgression, instead of following suit of the Adam, of Ish and Isha, the man and the woman, and ignoring the transgression and trying to cover up the transgression? So when we look at this Torah portion of Shemeni, we see two facets that we must be aware of. One is the very straightforward, black and white, thou shalt not of the Torah. And the other one is the human side that interprets thou shalt and thou shalt not based on what I feel is the right thing to do at the time. It's food for thought. It is food for thought. Something that we must very seriously consider. And we have plenty of time to consider it, being that we're all stuck in the house right now. But there it is. A brief look at Parsha Shemeni. I encourage you to read it. It is Vayikra or Leviticus 9:1 through 11:47. And you will see how strict it is. But in the middle of that, you will see Aaron bringing a very, very human side to the interpretation and the response to the Torah. Anyway, I hope to be able to see you all soon. Until then, I love you and Shabbat Shalom. Be safe. Goodbye.